Welcome, boys. In this video, we're going to be replacing the AC compressor in our 1993 Corvette. This is the 93, so it has R12. If you would have got it 1 year later, 94 and up, you'd have 134A. So it's a nice soupy 90-degree day with like 90% humidity out here. And all summer long it's been damn near 100 degrees, like 95 degrees every day. So I haven't been able to drive the car because we need to get the AC in it. So first thing, this probably only, well, at the time it was only leaking out of the compressor. Because you see all the goo here on this old compressor? That's all from the seals failing on the compressor and then it leaking all of its refrigerant and oil out of it. So theoretically, assuming none of the other seals are leaking, replacement of this compressor should be the only leak that needs fixed. So I'm going to go over a few things before I set you up and we work on this. First things first, look at the shape of the manifold. So as we see, we have two lines coming in from the front of the compressor, and then the manifold, and then this connector. There's two wires coming from the compressor and then going into the two wires going into the car's harness. Now, if we look at our replacement compressor, the first thing we notice is this connector has two wires going in. But it has, it's differently shaped. So, I don't think that connector is going to work. What I'm probably going to have to do is cut these wires and splice into the other compressor's wires. So I'm going to have to chop those off to get that connection. And then solder the wires on here. It's probably what I'm going to have to end up doing. Unless I can actually just plug that thing in here and then hope no water ever intrudes in there. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. The other thing you'll notice is the way this manifold is sitting, where it's actually facing this way. That does not matter. The compressor is still exactly the same as mine. So besides this thing, so maybe this came from like a climate control car or something, or maybe they changed the connector, and maybe in the other cars, I'm assuming maybe what happened is in the climate control cars, like 94 and up or something, this is the connector that it gets regardless, and then that fits into the other one. I don't know. Or maybe this is from a completely different car, but it's the same compressor. Maybe it's not from even a Corvette. It's from some other GM vehicle. And yeah, so I don't know. But that doesn't really matter. This is a simple wire. You got to figure out which one's positive, which one's negative, because both these wires look the same color. And then splice them in. So not a big deal. Now, as for this, how I'm going to do this is I'm simply just going to take this manifold off, disconnect my manifold here, and then when I put the compressor in, just bolt my old manifold back down onto this. I can reuse the seal if I need to from this new one. It does have a seal in it. I've already pulled this off and looked. And then I've also pulled this off and looked, and it does look exactly the same. The orientation of the compressor, like everything in there is the same, minus the way the manifold is. The gasket's the same, everything's the same. Now, I've already pre-filled this with 3 ounces of compressor oil. And this is the oil that is in there. So, super premium mineral oil, 525 viscosity. The Corvette system calls for this kind of oil because we're using R12, so it has to be a mineral oil. And you're supposed to put 3 ounces in the compressor and then 3 ounces in the system for a total of 6 ounces. The total ounces of stuff in the system is 28. So if we put 3 ounces of oil in the compressor, still you still need 28 ounces. But if 3 of those ounces are going to be oil in the system, then you'll only need 25 ounces of R12 refrigerant. And I have 12 ounce cans of R12. So this is what I have to put in the system. 12 ounces of R12, or this fake R12, which is in a 4 ounce can. I think it says so on here somewhere. Yeah, there it is, down at the bottom. Net weight 4 ounces. Despite this can even be ever so slightly larger than this one, for some reason I will put 4 ounces in here and you get 12 of R12. Whatever. That's all going to be in part 2, which of these I decide to go with. So, all right, without wasting any more of your time, since we're almost 6 minutes in, let's get to the actual removal of the compressor and replacing it. All right, obviously you can kind of sort of see. I already pulled the boot off, the intake boot. So I unplugged that connector from the side, my little vent for the OptiSpark. That's just tilted out a little way now. And then I already unplugged the connector down here for the temperature sensor next to the water pump. You can even see connector right there. Okay, so now with that done, I can get in there, loosen the tensioner, and get that off the belt. Okay, so this thing takes a very uncommon 16 millimeter. So I have a 16 millimeter box wrench with a very pronounced angle to it. So the pulley that's right between the crank and the water pump is the tensioner pulley, and I believe I need to go towards you guys from here. Yes. So with that oblongness to it, this angle, I'm able to clear that connector that's attached to the near the water pump there. So I can take the tension off this belt. Let's see if I can get a ratcheting wrench on this one here, because there's not really a lot of room to work. That can be loosened, and okay. All right, now I'll take the manifold bolts out, so that way I can just pull the compressor out once those other 3 bolts are out. 6? 6 looks like it works. Yep. I don't actually know how long these bolts are, so we'll find out together. For real, am I gonna actually have to take this out? I was really hoping that bolt wasn't that long. Here we are. Okay, now with this piece of plastic off, let's see, how long is this bolt? Pretty long. Ow. The pain. So, learn from my mistake. If you were to get rid of that piece of plastic first, you'll be able to get down in here and use a ratcheting, like an electric ratchet, on these compressor bolts and save yourself a bunch of time. I didn't think I would have. I was hoping they weren't that long, And I wasn't going to have to remove that, so I didn't bring the ratcheting wrench out. Or the electric ratchet. Okay. Okay, pro tip, loosen this first. I swear to God, I'm gonna lose my, I'm gonna have it come apart. Drenched in sweat, it's hot as balls, my stuff keeps falling and losing. I've lost now 1 bolt and a tool. Okay, now we can get the compressor out of here. Okay, so if we try not to get confused here, if we look, it looks like this top one goes through here. It goes right, which it should be left, because if we follow it all the way, it ends up being on the left side of this connector, which checks out with our old one, because this green wire is the top wire, and it is in the left of this. So green, left. So we're going to cut this, put this connector, the green one, which is the left one, onto the left one of this. And that way we can just plug it into the existing wiring harness on the car. So I'm going to cut those wires and solder it off camera, and then we'll be back. All right, we checked and double checked our work. So confirmation, the top one of our new compressor is where my green thingy is here, shrink wrap. Which goes into the green wire, goes into the left side of that connector. And then the other one, the black one. Because I imagine, I don't know for a fact, but I suspect what would happen is if you had that backwards, is because the engine's spinning one way, your clutch would attempt to rotate the other way, which would probably be bad for it if the engine's, spinning one way and it's not trying to resist it. So, assuming it would even turn, the other thing is, your compressor would be compressing everything backwards. Probably also bad. So, I guess if any of you feel like trying that out and letting me know what actually happens, feel free to do that and post in the comments below. Give me the business for a bit, but I think we're good now. Let this cool down a bit, and I'll slide those over there, and then heat shrink it up, and then we should be golden. It's going to be a little bit longer than the factory one, but that's fine as long as it's out of the way. That's not really that big of an issue. Okay. Trying to get the manifold on my compressor in a timely manner here. I don't want to tilt the compressor too much because I have oil in it. Okay, manifold's on. Let's see what we can do with this wiring here. Okay, hopefully the sun doesn't overheat my camera here. But I went ahead and the wire's going between the manifold and the compressor there, so I screwed back that little extra screw downer deal that this had. And I put some loom in here because the wire's a little bit longer and it's touching the compressor, the manifold, so I don't want it chafing or anything from vibrations. And that are back in. This is plugged in. We have green to green. Now, that one you saw was already started, so now I just got to put the other 3 bolts through, and then put the classical thing on and put the belt, plug everything back in, and that's it for this video. So stand by for speedrun putting back on edition. Enjoy the music. Okay, boys, this concludes part 1. How to replace your AC compressor in your 1993 or other C4 Corvette with the LT1. And maybe you'll get lucky and you won't have to do all that soldering nonsense in the 100-degree heat like I am with a 90% humidity out with no breeze. So if you're lucky, this will go by a little bit easier for you. If you're as lucky as I am, hopefully this helps. So, part 2, we're going to vacuum down and recharge the system. Hope this helps. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, boys. Peace.